should get some music going. I haven't read it. You think a book like this, Satan Wants You, you think that should be allowed?
I think it's okay.
You think all books, and everything from that to the lost teaching of Jesus.
That's right.
Thank you, Mary.
I think people should be able to read that and decide for themselves.
Good, thank you. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a crew. This album contains explicit lyrics, parental guidance suggested. To live crew, warning, explicit language contained, parental advisory, explicit lyrics.
Go ahead.
Go.
Well, I'm not really into rap or anything, but I am against censorship. I think just because you don't like something, you still should just not listen to it. You know?
Right. Thanks.
What do you think?
Anything else? Censored and not be allowed to be sold.
Right.
Just say what you. We want to get your opinion because everyone that we've talked to is against it, and we want to get someone for it.
They're against it.
The censorship. They think things should not be censored. They think things should be allowed.
Well, I think the lyrics should be censored on some of the music that we hear.
That's good. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I think that Robert Mapplethorpe is a good photographer. And I think that there's a problem with his work. On the 7 pieces or so that were in question, people don't have to look at them. They can go and appreciate his other work and ignore the work that is there. I mean, there's no one who's forced to go and see it. And as far as censorship, I don't think that it should be forced on people, but it wasn't.
The First Amendment gives people the right for free speech. Although it is not an absolute right, people express their right to speak, like this man who is preaching the Bible in public. It is not an offense to do this. The same right that gives this man to preach in public about the Bible gives this man the same right to preach his rights of freedom. Now, some people don't like the KKK, but it is his American right to preach what he...
1789. In December 15th, 1791, it became the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. One amendment, which James Madison considered, quote, the most valuable on the whole list, unquote, was not ratified. It was the proposal that no state shall violate the equal rights of conscience, or the freedom of speech or of religion, because it is proper that every government should be disarmed of powers which trench upon those particular rights. I cannot see any reason, said Madison, against obtaining even a double security on these rights. It must be admitted on all hands that the state governments are as liable to attack these individual privileges as the general government is, and therefore ought to be as cautiously guarded against. Now, the First Amendment isn't an absolute right, and it's based on that what you can say whatever you want as long as it's not harmful to government or you're going to do something bad. So what you have, the whole problem is that what do you consider harmful to the government or what could be considered harmful? And throughout time, there have been many court cases trying to decide what is harmful and what isn't harmful.
Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Bill. How are you doing this morning?
Good. A fine late winter, early spring morning, 1971.
It is. It's a lovely morning.
Boy, my throat is
Oh, would you like some coffee, Bill?
Coffee would be great, Betty.
Okay, I'll go get you some coffee, Bill.
Thank you.
Well, I can't wait till that newspaper.
Oh, just
there's
in.
that newspaper.
The New York Times,
Wow.
March 1971 edition, right here.
Wow.
Let me read it. What's this about?
What, Bill? What's wrong?
The Pentagon Papers, a history of American involvement of defense in Vietnam, the truth.
Bill.
This is absurd.
What, Bill?
Printing this in a local newspaper for all the world to see.
Bill, don't worry. They have the freedom of the press. They can print whatever they want. It's not harming
This could
anyone.
endanger our troops in Vietnam.
Oh, it could, Bill.
This is awful. Who printed this?
Bill, I'll go get you some cream.
You better give me some cream. I am shocked. I want to hear about this Supreme Court better do something about this one. This case, scandal, did in fact reach the United States Supreme Court. The final verdict was 6-3 for the permission for the New York Times Company and the Washington Post to publish the Pentagon Papers. One opinion for this publication was by Justice Hugo Black, who we have with us today. Justice Hugo Black, could you walk on, please, and give your verdict?
Paramount among the responsibilities of free press is the duty to prevent any part of the government from deceiving the people and sending them to distant lands to die of foreign fevers, foreign shot and shell. In my view, from deserving condemnation for their courageous reporting, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other newspapers should be commended for serving the purpose that the Founding Fathers saw so clearly in regarding the working of the governments that led to the Vietnam War. The newspaper nobly did precisely what the founders hoped and trusted that they would.
Also with us is one of the 3 justices of the Supreme Court against the right to publish the Pentagon Papers. His name is Harry Blackmun.
Hello, fellow Americans. My name is Harry Blackmun. The First Amendment, after all, is only one part of an entire Constitution. Article 2 of the great document vests in the executive branch primary power over the conduct of foreign affairs and places in that branch the responsibility for the nation's safety. Each provision of the Constitution is important, and I, Harry Blackmun, cannot subscribe to a doctrine of unlimited absolutism for the First Amendment at the cost of endangering.
It's a cool 1950 night here on Film District in Boston. The film by Roberto Rossellini, The Miracle, has created quite a scandal in the city. The main idea of the story being, well, a demented girl who lives on a mountain. You can hear the sound of cars. Who lives on a mountain, becomes pregnant, and thinks that she is carrying the Son of God. However, the village people taunt her when she claims that she is carrying the Son of God, so she goes in recluse and hides in a cave. She goes to a church and has the baby, and that's the main idea of the story. This raised quite a scandal among the religious fanatics of the area, and here now you'll see why. An actual clipping of the film by Roberto Rossellini, The Miracle. You're off.
I tell you, it's the Son of God I carry.
Foolish woman, that's not the Son of God you're carrying.
Why must I be taunted by my village people? It's the Son of God, the Immaculate Conception.
You're demented, woman.
I'm not demented.
Get out of this town. Stop bouncing
I'm
around.
going to recluse in a cave because you people don't understand.
You're on.
You can see by seeing that one little scene why this film formed such a controversy in this state, and why people such as the people of filmgoers and Catholics. Oh, hi sir. You just came from The Miracle, I see. What do you feel about this movie?
I think it was crazy. I think it was absurd, and I hope that the state legislators do something against it to prevent that type of films from being shown. I think it's pathetic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. As you right there, a man who just came from that moment thinks it's sacrilegious beyond belief, as did Cardinal Spellman, and Cardinal Spellman did all he could to unite the people against this, and actually the state did finally ban this film, only to be reversed by the Supreme Court. who said that it was a violation of the First Amendment rights to ban such a film. So the court of the Supreme Court gave that right, and we'll cut to an actual Supreme Court decision.
The main state decision on this scandal was this. It is simply that no religion, as the word is understood by the ordinary reasonable person, shall be treated with contempt, mockery, scorn, and ridicule by those engaged in selling entertainment by way of motion pictures. Of course, the Supreme Court did not agree with this, and they said, as Justice Tom C. Clark puts it. Tom C. Clark, please.
Hello, my name is Tom C. Clark. I'm ready to give you my verdict. Of course, it cannot be doubted that motion pictures are a significant medium for the communication of ideas. They may affect public attitudes and behavior in a variety of ways, ranging from direct espousal of a political or social doctrine to the subtle shaping of thought which characterizes all artistic expression. That movies are designed to entertain us does not make a legal difference. What is one man's amusement teaches others doctrine. The censor is set adrift upon a boundless sea amid a myriad of conflicting currents of religious views, with no charts but those provided by the most vocal and powerful orthodoxies. The censor would sooner or later wind up banning the expression of unpopular sentiments that remain sacred to a religious minority. But it is not the business of government in our nation to suppress real or imagined attacks upon a particular religious doctrine, whether they appear in publications. We're going to express our own views on censorship now.
That we are.
What I think on censorship is that people should have the right to do whatever they want, and no one should be able to censor it. I mean, the basic consensus is that what we've talked to people about is no one should be able to, like, if you don't like something, like a song, don't listen to the song. If you don't like a movie, don't go see the movie, you know. You don't have to tell other people what to do. They can make their own decisions. Like the First Lady said in the interview, if you don't like a book, well, read it and decide if you don't like it yourself. If you don't like it, fine. You know, you don't have to express. You can express what you want to express, but there's no point in it.
Right. You know,
What
Paul,
What, David?
I kind of agree with that. But I kind of think of it this way. The Constitution was written, what, more than 200 years ago, right? And I sometimes think that people stick to it too much. And they read it literally. Like, in the First Amendment gives the right to the people like the KKK, like the man you saw on the street, putting down minority groups. Now, I don't think that should be legal.
Neither do I.
You don't either. Well, that's good. You see, freedom of speech and freedom of speech would never intend to be, freedom of the press would never intend to be absolute rights.
I know that. I read that.
Right. Rights only limited by what's decent and what's not threatening to the national government. The controversy that arises is what draws the line between decency and safety for the national government, making it so they should ban it, and then on the other side, making it so they should not be able to ban it because we live in such a democratic and free nation.